Hello, adventurer! If you're looking for a fun day trip exploring Singapore, catch all of her iconic sites, have a taste of our local food, at your own pace without having to spend hours planning, I got you. I'm Tommy, your local Singaporean guide. And today, I'll be taking you on a one-of-a-kind, foolproof city cycling tour. Let's begin. It's quite heavy. Today, we'll be cutting across the most scenic and historic scenes in Singapore. Have a break at one of my favorite local food centers, and I will share a site that not many people have seen about Singapore, the neighborhood where we Singaporeans live. So, to start your city cycling adventure, grab one of these ride-sharing bikes. There are two providers in Singapore, the green bikes by Anywheel and the blue bikes from HelloRide. Just download either one, but if you want a free ride on me, use these links to sign up for these apps. I got my bike from the bike point just under the Marina Bay Sands Tower, but if you're starting after 9 AM in the morning, you might have better luck at the bike points at the shopping mall down the road. To start, we're gonna go that direction, follow up the DNA Bridge because there's a viewing spot that you cannot miss. Ta-da! Welcome to the pedestrian bridge with the most impressive view, the Helix Bridge. It really is designed after a DNA, by the way. Look at the structure, the double helix that you might be familiar with if you've seen it in your biology textbook. Look at the floor. You will actually see ATCGs written all over it. AT CG. It's my lucky day. So many dogs. I absolutely love to perch on one of these viewing points and admire the city view. The Marina Bay Sands Tower just looks so good from here. And that onion-looking building, that's the Art Science Museum. Everything looks good from here except the right side at the moment because they are currently building a new floating platform for our national celebrations called the NS Square. It should be done in around 2028. Alright, now we're gonna go back the same way towards the Marina Bay Sands again to explore the iconic sites along the Marina Bay. So just right with the bay on your right. Right down towards the shops, there's a lift that will bring you down to the Marina Bay level. Wow! Look at all the lotus flower underneath the Art Science Museum. And of course, the scenic Palm Tree Lane. Did you know there's a fountain over here? Right now the fountain is not on, but this is where usually water swish around, giving a very nice water and light pattern to the mall buildings below. And right ahead is the iconic spherical Apple shop on the bay. It's like a floating glass ball. Here at the other end of the shopping mall is where you can find more bikes in case you were out of luck at the first spot. To save money, I actually bought a bike pass that gives me free rides as long as they are under 60 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is to ride this for 1 hour, and at the next stop near 1 hour mark, I'm just gonna switch bike. Wow! Look at my city! Ho ho! Further down the bay, just across the customs house, where we used to inspect goods coming into the country, is where I'm gonna tell you another secret. See those boats right there? Singapore actually has a sailing club, and you can actually join them for free. It's run by our local bank, DBS, meant to be like an introductory experience to sailing. If you want a taste of this free experience, I will find the link and put the sign up over here. Just note that it's very difficult to sign up. You know, free things and everyone wants to get it. But I went once and definitely worth going. Continuing on, you'll soon reach... Ta-da! Welcome to the most iconic site in Singapore, the Merlion. Now you might be thinking, wow, half fish, half lion? Is this a mythical creature? Perhaps the guardian of Singapore? Nah, not that deep. This Merlion is an icon born out of our most successful tourism campaign. Yep, back in the 1960s, our government needed a new icon to promote Singapore as the next tourism destination. Hence, bloop, the Merlion was born. It actually has a very clever design. The half fish harkens back to our historical heritage as a fishing village. And the half lion refers to the ancient story of a lion sighting that led to the founding of ancient Singapore. Our older name was actually Singapura, which is Sanskrit for the Lion City. But I don't know where they get the inspiration of a puking lion. Right across the Merlion is our very famous performing arts center, the Esplanade. Us locals refer to it as the durian because the roof spikes make it really look like the king of fruit. Despite the unglam reference, this is actually a world-renowned engineering and architectural feat. Each of the spikes, 7,139 of them, are aluminum panels installed at a precise angle to maximize natural lighting while minimizing overheating. Guess what the architects intended it to look like? Apparently, lanterns, but too bad. It's durians now. Hey, welcome to Durians by the Bay. From the Merlion, right down across the bridge towards the direction of Esplanade. From the Esplanade, turn left to get under this bridge, which will open to a garden. Welcome to our oldest and best preserved historical district in Singapore, the Civic District. Now, let's play a game of Spot the Difference. Here's a picture of this same exact angle, but 100 years ago. What changed? Isn't that crazy? These skyscrapers actually only sprung up in the past 60 years. But what really stood out to me is that one building that didn't really change. The Fullerton Hotel. I mean, it did change. Last time it was a post office and a government office. Now it's a luxury hotel. But just look at how well they restore and preserve it up to this day. From the Fullerton, right up to the green grass patch in front of the Victoria Memorial Hall. I am so glad and very thankful that all these old buildings still exist today and very well taken care of. Over here is my favorite view of the old Supreme Court and City Hall. Now, these are the National Gallery hosting very prominent Southeast Asian art. They're currently preparing for F1, that's why there are extra scaffoldings on the left and right. The reason why this is so iconic and such a favorite view of mine is the same reason they picked this as part of the F1 circuit. I just love riding across this row of heritage buildings. It's so nice. Too bad that I also have to watch the road. Just across from the National Gallery is the Padang, and this is one of the most mind-blowing views. Not because this is the view, because of the story behind it. Right there in the distance is the Three Towers, the MBS, where we started. But if you look closely, that little road just past this patch of greenery, past the Padang, everything beyond that point are all entirely built on land reclaimed from the sea just in the past 50 years. It's amazing rapid amount of progress, really. That MBS towers actually only done in the 2010s, 2011 I think. As a small country, we reclaim a lot of land from the sea to make more land to build. In fact, as of today, as much as a quarter of our total land area are reclaimed land. You know, we want to reclaim even more. But recently, there's been a supply chain problem. Nobody's selling sand anymore. It's become quite an ethical and environmental dilemma. We'll see how it goes. But if you know anyone selling sand, hit us up. Anyway, from here, just go a little bit more in front and cross over to the side of the National Gallery so you can see the building from up close. Then we're gonna go back the same way. I'll show you more cool stuff. Cross the road and turn into the backside of the Victoria Hall. And ta-da! Say hi to the founder of Singapore, Sir Stamford Raffles. This is said to be the point where he first landed in Singapore before signing a treaty to make this into a very prominent British trading port. Let's play another game of Spot the Difference. Here's a photo from the 1900s, actually from across this bank of the river, but looking at the same angle we're looking at. What has changed and what has stayed the same? So the super obvious one is the swarm of little boats parked along the waterfront. Why is there so many boats? Because you're looking at the commercial heart of Singapore back in the 1860s. Back in the days, before container ships were a thing, ships used to dock just outside of the Singapore River where the Fullerton building was. And these little boats would help load and unload the cargo from those big ships straight into the warehouses and the trading houses that line the opposite bank. This old photo was the heyday of our olden day Singapore economy, which brought us a lot of jobs and a lot of money. Those of you with a keen eye would spot that this building on the right side is the same building right here. It used to be called the Emperor's Place. Today, it's the Asian Civilization Museum. If you're interested to dig into Southeast Asian art and history, this is a good place to be. Today, we don't have much of those kind of trading anymore, but the trading houses and the warehouses are preserved and reused for modern day use cases. In fact, this stretch opposite of us is one of the liveliest night place in Singapore. Actually, sometimes you'll still spot some of the little boats, but they're not carrying cargo anymore. They're carrying tourists. Those are our Singapore River Cruise. Now, continue along with the Singapore River on your left. We'll go under the bridge and I'll show you something very colorful. Is it time to change bike? Yep, time to reset my charge. The most colorful historical building in Singapore, the Hill Street Police Station. Now you might be wondering, why are our police station so colorful? So much budget for that? No. This is the old Hill Street Police Station. Back then, it's normal color when it was still in operation. Today, it's a government office and they made it into a heritage building, painted it in all these colors so it's more attractive to visit. In fact, you'll see a lot of tourists trying to take a picture with this as the background. You know what? It must have been a pain to color all these windows, am I right? From here, turn right into Funan area. That's another historical relic that you must see. Ta-da! The oldest still operating fire station in Singapore, the Central Fire Station. It's built in the Victorian era. Just look at the architecture. I noticed that some of the old buildings in Australia also look a bit like this, the pattern especially. From here, cross over to the side of the fire station. You can stop by over here for a while. There's a heritage museum about our civil defense history. Otherwise, follow along. We're gonna head into Clarke Quay. Once you're at Clarke Quay, cross over and cycle on this left side of the river. This is where you can get a nicer view of all the heritage shop houses and warehouses. The nightlife area also extends from Boat Quay all the way to the Clarke Quay area. One of the olden day warehouse is actually one of our most popular nightclub called Zouk. Look at all the parked boats. Look just like the old photo, yeah? Now, continue onwards with the Singapore River on your right side. Until you meet the most colorful bridge in Singapore, the Alkaff Bridge. This is our very first art bridge that has a very sad and beautiful backstory. Because the original artist, Pachita Abad, passed away from cancer just months after she finished working on this bridge. That makes the Alkaff Bridge her last parting gift to the world, and us Singaporeans are very honored to be the recipient. I'm also very moved by her story because she must have been fighting cancer the whole time she was working on this bridge. About the bridge, what do you think the shape of the bridge looked like? Durian? No, not durian. If you say banana, a bit closer. But the original artist modeled it after the tongkang, which are the small light boats that helped to load and unload cargoes, similar to the bamboos we saw earlier. And wow, this river got lots of fishes. Speaking of fishes, it makes me kinda hungry. Luckily, lunch is not so far away. Just cross the Alcove Bridge and stick to the right side. We'll reach a local food center very soon. And here is one of my favorite bridge because of the artwork underneath. Ta-da! That is Sir Stamford Raffles and the almost always forgotten hero, William Farquhar. He is the unsung hero that played a critical role that helped Singapore thrive in her early years. Unfortunately, they had a bit of a falling out. That's why you don't hear as much about Farquhar compared to you hear about Stamford Raffles. Anyway, let's move on. My stomach is calling. Finally, Zion Riverside Food Center. Welcome to our local food center. This is where us Singaporeans have our breakfast, lunch, and dinners. You'll find rows of hawker stalls selling all kinds of different local food, and the best news, you can sit anywhere. I got myself a plate of char kway teow. It's our local dish of fried flat rice noodle, but not just fried, wok fried. If you hear the uncle cooking, you hear the clank of his wok, and you hear even closer, you hear the jet engine under his stove. That is wok frying. Very hot, very intense. What separates a good kway teow from a bad one is the wok hei, which is the roasted flavor that is imparted from the food being well fried in the wok. Wok hei is also the name of my dog. This is wok hei. Wok hei snout. Good boy. Wok hei high five. Yes. Good boy. But don't worry, I don't cook him. Not yet. I'm gonna cook you and eat you up. Anyway, this char kway teow is actually very new to me. Usually, the normal version is flat rice noodle cooked with eggs, bean sprout, Chinese sausage, and cockles. But this time, I got extra prawn, lime, and coriander. Still tastes good though. And to quench my thirst in this super hot weather, I got a cup of sugarcane juice with lemon and sour plum. Once you're full and recharged, continue along. I'm gonna show you where we live. By the way, if you don't want to waste your bike rental money, just across from the Zion Food Center is actually a bike parking lot. So you can drop off your bike here and then just continue after your lunch. Also, if you're doing this cycling route during the day, this left side is more shaded with trees. Just keep cruising along the river. Once you crossed the Dawson Road, look for this mural. This is where you park your bike. Yes, this is the last stop of our cycling route. We have just cycled through one of the best executed housing projects in Singapore, along the Alexandra Linear Park. Newer housing projects in Singapore love to integrate green areas, complete with continuous walking and cycling route to make pedestrian commute super smooth and very convenient. On top of that, all these paths that we call the park connectors are always very well groomed with greeneries, making it very pleasant to stroll along. Even in the midday afternoon sun, it's very shaded, very windy, a lot more cooling compared to walking on an open field. Anyway, I want to show you this one view that will make you want to live in Singapore. Behold, adventurer, the peak of Singapore public housing. Yes, you're currently looking at a Singapore public housing project. For this one, you gotta keep your volume down because we're walking into the residential blocks and we're going up the rooftop. Get into the lift and go to the level 47 roof garden. Oh my god. What? Okay, it's too bright. This is insane. Going one round gives you 360-degree high altitude view. There's even tables and chairs for you if you want to hang around here. Oh my god, you can even see the Marina Bay Sands from here. Look, though just 1.5 of the towers, you can see the ports from here. That is the Reflections condominium near Sentosa. Oh, that is Sentosa. Look, you can see the cable cars. It's so good. It's so windy here. I don't feel so hot. Man, isn't it so cool that Singapore Public Housing Project has such a sick rooftop? Bad news is, if you do want to live in this building, you have to fork out an upwards of 900,000 Singapore dollars. It's a lot of money. But good news is, you don't have to live here to access the rooftop. It's actually open to public, though you can only enter from 7 AM to 10 PM. Good enough to catch sunrise and sunset. Vast, cooling greeneries, connected neighborhoods, sick rooftop views. Don't you want to move to Singapore now? And congratulations! Now you have an easy half-day itinerary for an epic cycling adventure in Singapore. But don't come here until you watch this next video over here. I'll see you there.